Good evening, my fellow developer and gamers. I have something cool to show you. Before I get into that, I would like to show you around a little bit in IntelliJ. This is something I briefly touched on in video 2, but there are a lot of functions that I tend to use in IntelliJ, and I think you should be shown them before we continue the rest of the video series. After, I will show you how to make a couple templates that are some real-time savers. So let's take a look. So in IntelliJ is where I manipulate the XML and the Lua files. I want to show you the plugin that I use for Lua. If you click on File, go to Settings, and then go down to Plugins, and then type in Lua, L-U-A, you will see this one called Lua. I already have it installed. This is the one I recommend using. The one I do not recommend using is this one from CodeStream. This one does cause problems. If you have it installed, I would uninstall it. The next thing I want to show you is my favorite folder. Remember in the previous video I showed you how to set up your C drive, underbar FG, Fantasy Grounds, and we have a few different folders in here. My favorite one is the Open Rule Sets and Extensions. This is where I suggested to unzip Core RPG, Fake Core, MoreCore, and any of the other extensions that you either have or have made. This is a great place to shop to find how things were developed. I like to open this folder as its own separate window in IntelliJ. I go to File, Open, and I navigate to my FG, Fantasy Grounds, and then Open Rules and Extensions. I open this up in a new window, and I always keep this as a second instance of IntelliJ. And this way I could search through all the previous extensions that I've worked on or rule sets that belong to Fantasy Grounds. Take for instance back over here on template. This is something that I'm working on to have a one-stop shop to find previous objects that I have created, so the next time that I'm wanting to use that object, I don't have to go and hunt it down and rediscover or relearn how it works all over again. Let's say I'm trying to figure out what is frame care. I know this is an element, but I don't know where it originated. So I copy it. I go over to my Open Rule Sets and Extensions, and I press Ctrl-Shift-F. This opens Find in Path, which is the entire project. I paste it, and then I look for the template FrameCar. And in here I see that it's a generic control frame group box. So I know where this originated from. I know this is in Core RPG. There are other objects in here that I might want to search. For example, FrameCar switch notes. When I come over here and I search for the template name, I see that this was built in MoreCore. And I can go directly to where it originated from. The next shortcut that's also very helpful is Ctrl-F. When I'm trying to find everything that's on the same page, if you double click and press Ctrl-F, it will highlight all of the places that have the exact same text. This way, when I'm changing something and I have to change the reference to it in a lot of places, I can easily find it. The next shortcut I want to show is Ctrl-D. Often with elements, it is a lot of copying and paste. I've just created this new record care new page 2, and I need to add it to my extension XML. If you click on the line and press Ctrl-D, it will create a duplicate of that field above. Then I go up into here, which is the next shortcut that I want to show you, and right-click on the XML, go to Copy, Copy Path, Copy from Current Root. And this will give you the exact file name and path location that you need to paste into here. A lot of errors that I make are simply typos where I leave out a letter in here and I don't notice it until after I've already loaded it into Fantasy Grounds. And the final shortcut that I want to show you is comment and uncomment. If you're clicked on a line, doesn't matter where you're clicked. If you press Control /, it will comment out that line. Pressing Control / again will comment that line back in. This will work both for XML and for Lua. Now, here's that cool thing that I promised you. What I want you to do is I want you to click on File, Settings, go to Editor, and click on File and Code Templates, and then click the plus sign. I want you to name this FG space underbar underbar space XML and the extension to be XML. Then if you look down in the description, there's an XML to copy section. Copy that whole piece and paste it here in this box. Click Enable Live Templates, hit Apply. Do this one more time. Click the plus sign, type in FG space underbar underbar space LUA, the extension LUA. Then also go down to the description and copy and paste the Lua section. Click on Enable Live Templates, hit Apply, press OK. Now, when you need to make a new XML or Lua file, just use those templates that you just created. Let's say we want to put an XML file here in Campaign. Right-click on Campaign, go to New, go to FG XML, type it in, whatever name you want to give it. I'm going to call it Bob Test. Hit OK. And now this has created bobtest.xml. It has the pieces that you need for it to work in Fantasy Grounds. Root, the window class, the sheet data. You'll see that I have the link to both the old and the new developer's guide. Both of them have some really good information that we'll be using throughout our video series. It also puts some information about when the date and time of this was created. And I often forget the properties of the position attribute. So I copy this into all my XMLs. I work with a lot of languages and they slightly vary from language to language. This way it's easier for me to remember. Sometimes we don't need the window class and we'll just be deleting this piece, but when we do, it will go ahead and name it for you. Many errors that I receive, just like I previously said, are because I have a typo here or I forgot to name it. This helps get you started. The same thing goes for the Lua file. If I want to add a Lua file into my scripts folder in Campaign, I right-click on scripts, I go to New, FG Lua. I'll call this Tim Lua Test. And it creates my Tim Lua Test. Another thing it does is it creates this script element that I'm going to paste into my XML. The one downside is it doesn't actually copy the path from the current root. I couldn't quite get that to work in IntelliJ. However, it does get the Tim Lua Test name right. And when I'm ready to update this, I will just move this to the location of where it's needed, paste it, and then go right-click on my Tim Lua Test file, go to Copy, Copy Path, Copy from Current Root, and paste over that field. IntelliJ has a lot of really cool tools, and it has really changed my development for Fantasy Grounds, and I hope it helps you too. I hope you enjoyed those tips, shortcuts, and templates. And until next time, keep gaming and keep developing.